Part 6. Ali Carter, the girl they tried to erase. MK Ultra alters and the inner war begins. Let me tell y'all about the quietest scream you'll ever hear. It don't come from the mouth. It don't echo through no hallway. It ain't recorded in no booth. It's trapped deep. Deep inside a broken girl who got turned into a weapon. This ain't the same Ali Carter from TikTok. This ain't the wild girl yelling from the desert, calling out Oprah and Diddy. Nah, this is younger Ali, little Ali, the one they ain't never wanted y'all to meet. Because if you really knew her whole story, you'd start asking too many damn questions. And the system, it don't like questions. The split, picture this. A 5-year-old girl sitting in a room so quiet, you can hear the hum of the ceiling light. A man walk in with gloves. A woman behind a glass window holding a clipboard. They not there to protect her. They there to break her. And what do they call it? Mind fragmentation, early programming, trauma-induced compartmentalization. But on the streets, we call it. They turned that girl into a lab rat. Ali Carter said she got split into pieces, not by accident, on purpose. They built her brain like a Rubik's Cube, but only they knew the combination. Alters ain't fiction. And die. In the hood, when we hear somebody talking to themselves, we joke, they must be schizo. They on that stuff. Nah, they just crazy. But nah, sometimes trauma create layers. And sometimes them layers come with names. Ali said her mind got divided. Not just personalities, but whole different people inside her. People who carry different memories, different pains, different voices. One of them, a scared little girl that only talks to Jesus. Another one, a British-sounding woman who remembers the rituals. Another, the one they trained to obey. Take orders, follow the hand signals, do the thing and forget it ever happened. And the worst one, that's the one who protects the others by taking all the pain for them. Programming through pain. Let's talk facts, not fiction. MK Ultra was real, declassified, documented. Your government ain't deny it. They just buried the files in legalese. Ali says she was part of that legacy. Maybe not the 50s batch with LSD, but the modern version, the aftershock programs, where they use foster homes instead of hospitals, where they use group homes instead of labs, where they got new techniques. Sound triggers, flashing lights, sleep deprivation, emotional starvation. She said they fed her fear like breakfast. That every time she cried, they punished the wrong altar. So the others learned to shut up, learned that silence equals survival, learned that tears equals danger, learned that truth equals punishment. So Ali Carter ain't just scared of her past, she's scared of what still lives inside her. Voices in the dark. Have you ever watched her live streams at night? Not the clips, not the chopped up TikToks, the raw ones, the uncut 3 a.m. breakdowns from the desert. 1 minute she prays in a baby voice, the next minute she's a grown woman screaming about tunnels. Then she flips, British accent, calculated calm, like she's reading a script. She don't remember what she said, she don't know what she said, because half the time, she wasn't the one talking. And y'all laugh, y'all comment, she needs help, she on drugs, she clout chasing. But maybe, just maybe, she's one of the few who escaped the program alive. And now her broken pieces are still arguing in public, trying to piece back the truth. They still got access. Ali once said, they know how to trigger me. Even now, they use my own thoughts against me. Think about that. She ain't paranoid, she trained. Trained to forget, trained to obey, trained to turn on herself when she gets too close to the truth. She said, every time I remember something, I black out after. Every time I speak too much, I lose hours. I wake up sore, dizzy, panicked. Sometimes I'm not even in the same place. That ain't fantasy, that's dissociation. That's what happens when a mind gets split so early, it don't know what version is the real you no more. And that's just the beginning. We ain't even got to the collector. We ain't even touched on the code words, the handlers, the watchers in the desert. Ali Carter didn't just survive abuse, she survived a system designed to erase her, then use her silence to keep the whole operation invisible. But guess what? She talking now, and Uncle Mike, I'm right here helping her tell it. One piece at a time. We cracked open the mind of Ali Carter, a mind split like glass under pressure. We ain't talking mood swings. We talking government grade programming. Altars crafted like tools. Now let's talk about who held the blueprint. The Collector. Ali didn't just drop a name, she dropped a title. The Collector. Not abuser, not trafficker. Collector, like a man who gathers broken souls, like a devil with a filing cabinet of stolen childhoods. She said he didn't just take things, he installed things. The Collector didn't hurt me for pleasure. He hurt me with purpose. Let that line breathe. This man wasn't after pain, he was after control. And the way All describes him, he ain't loud, he ain't violent, he's soft-spoken, calm, calculating. He don't need to scream because the code's already running. Triggers, codes, and control, All said the Collector had phrases he'd whisper to her. One sentence and boom, her whole body would freeze. Another word, she'd get dizzy. Snap his fingers, she'd comply. This ain't movie stuff, this is conditioned behavioral response. Dog trainers do it. Military does it. Pimps do it. Governments? Oh, they wrote the damn playbook. I'd be walking in Walmart and hear a voice that sounded like his. Next thing I know, I'm waking up in a hotel room 3 hours later. You hear that? This ain't paranoia. This is a system malfunctioning in real time. This is a survivor glitching because her inner wiring got rewired by predators who knew exactly what they were doing. Who trained the handlers? Ali once said something cold. The people who did this to me were trained by someone higher. This ain't one sick man in a van. This was a structure, a network. And guess who she says was watching? CPS, court-appointed therapists, foster care case workers. And in the background, wealthy donors, nonprofits, elites. She said, they use nonprofits like they holy. But them buildings got basements. And the real programs don't happen in the light. Ain't that the truth? Some of the dirtiest deals in this world with the cleanest suits. And the deeper you dig, the more you find fake saviors hiding real demons. The hotel room memory. She told a story that had Uncle Mike frozen. Ali says she was around 11 years old, woke up in a hotel room. Curtains closed, TV off, room service untouched, but there was a briefcase on the table. Inside, not money, not drugs, but a binder, photos, names, assignments, pages filled with codes and symbols she didn't understand at the time. But when she got older, she remembered them, and next to the binder, a single photograph of herself. On the back, a word, delivered. She said that's when she realized. She was a product, not a child, not a daughter, a transaction, escaping the system. Or did she? Ali says she got out at 14, but you can tell her body left, but the programming stayed. Even now, she flinches at certain sounds. She forgets whole hours after going live. She zones out mid-sentence. She's not faking for views. She's malfunctioning in front of the world. And instead of love, people laugh. They call her a liar, a scammer. They say she's just another TikTok nut. But if you really listen, if you put away your assumptions and lean in real close, you'll hear it. The programming is still there. The voices that don't leave. Ali once said, they don't need cages if they control your mind. Let that sit. She's not on the run. She's not in jail. She's in the open. She got a car, a phone, access, but she's still trapped because every time she speaks, she's fighting decades of installed silence. Every post she makes, that's a rebellion. Every live stream, that's a war. And sometimes she don't even know what side she on. Now, I know y'all tired of stories that don't go nowhere. But this one, It's unraveling right in front of us. This is Ali versus the program, Ali versus the code, Ali versus herself. She ain't looking for fame, she looking for freedom. And the saddest part, even when the world listens, she still ain't sure which voice inside her is doing the talking. Alter wars, when your mind becomes the battlefield. You ever seen a war that don't leave bodies in the street, but leaves them in the mirror? That's what Ali Carter lives with every single day. She don't wake up and wonder what happened last night. She wake up and wonder who woke up in her place. Mental battlefield. The real war ain't out there. See, we all talk about battles. With family, with police, with trauma. But Ali, she fighting inside her own damn head. No peace, no silence, just voices, different ones, different memories, different purposes. And the wild part, each one of them think they're the real her. Meet the alters, as she described them. London, British accent, soft tone, high vocabulary, calm under pressure, remembers protocols and rituals, triggered by emotional suppression, believes she's the protector. Baby A, childlike, frozen in time, cries when asked questions, barely speaks, trusts only one stuffed animal, only emerges during panic. Zaza, the loud one, got fire in her throat, curses, defiant, comes out when Ali's in danger or getting mocked, doesn't trust anyone. Ekko, silent, observes everything, rarely speaks. Ali says Ekko records things the others don't remember, possibly created for surveillance. The placeholder. Ali said this one got no name, just exists to fill the void when others collapse. Code, robotic, has no soul in her voice. That's 5. She believes there are more, but some are still hidden. The inner conflict ain't always loud. You ever argue with yourself? Now imagine each part of your mind has a voice, a name, a trauma file, and a trigger. She once said, I hear them when it's quiet. I feel them when I'm trying to smile. Sometimes I dream through their eyes, and I wake up crying for reasons I can't remember. You think that's drama? Nah, fam, that's depth. That's what happens when your soul been chopped up like verses in a mixtape, and nobody taught you how to master it. She live streams through the noise. Imagine going live with 7 personalities watching you from the inside. Imagine trying to tell your story while one voice saying, shut up, another screaming, burn it down, and another asking, are we safe? Ali said, sometimes I don't hit, go live. One of them does. She don't always remember what she said, but she feels the backlash, feels the trolls, feels the shame, and still, she opens the phone, presses record, tells the story again, because maybe, just maybe, that camera is her last form of therapy. Can she heal? Let's talk real. Can you really heal when your memory is stitched together like broken glass? Can you move forward when your own mind don't trust you? Ali don't just need a therapist, she needs a code breaker, a soul whisperer, a trauma surgeon with hands so soft they can reach inside her without waking up her defenses. But what does she get instead? Trolls, cops, silence, and a few strangers online who feel her pain, but got no way to help. That's why she comes to TikTok, not for clout, but to be heard by someone, anyone. When alters start fighting each other, Ali said the worst moments ain't when one alter takes over. It's when 2 show up at the same time, when baby A is triggered, but Zaza gets control. When London's calm voice gets drowned out by the placeholder's numbness. When Ekko just watches. That's when Ali says she starts losing time, losing control, losing self. She said, it's like being tied to a chair in your own head while someone else drives your life off a cliff. Now imagine living that every day and having to explain it to people who think mental health is just mood swings. The world don't see the war, they see the outburst. So when Ali lashes out, it ain't about you, it ain't about clout, It's about containment. She's trying to keep the damn roof from collapsing while each voice inside her is pulling a different direction. It's like her soul is holding onto a seatbelt in a car with no driver. And still, she speaks. That's bravery. So now we understand. Allie Carter ain't just a victim. She's a war zone wearing lip gloss. A survivor that don't sleep. A soldier that don't carry a gun, just scars. And still, every time she presses go live, she dares the world to watch her unravel. And maybe, just maybe, finally get it. What they did in the desert, black SUVs, helicopters, and surveillance nightmares. Out in that desert, ain't no red carpet, ain't no glam, ain't no fame, just dust, shadows, and a girl the world called crazy, yelling from the edge of a broken road, praying somebody would listen before they erased her for good. This ain't no metaphor. This is where Allie Carter says she ran to, and where they still came looking. Surveillance ain't paranoia. When it's real, Allie ain't just hiding in the desert because she likes sunsets. She said, the city got ears, the buildings got watchers, but the desert, it listens. It don't talk back. She ran because she felt followed. Every time she posted a video, she said a car showed up down the road. Dark windows, black SUV, ain't no logo, ain't no engine hum, just still, like it was waiting for a signal. She once filmed a live stream, middle of the night, and said, look behind me, that's them. That's not no neighbor, that's the people that watch me. She zoomed in and you could see it. A vehicle with its headlights off, just sitting. Helicopters that circle without searchlights. Not every chopper in the sky is a rescue. Some hover too long, fly too low, come back again and again, even when there ain't no fire, no chase, no spotlight. Ali said she noticed patterns, said they circled above every time she started exposing new names, and not just one time, every time. You think that's coincidence? Or you think someone wants her to know they're still watching? The desert ain't safe. Oh, it's strategic. See, folks think Allie ran to the desert because she lost it. But what if she ran there because it was the only place left where the signal drops just long enough to stop the tracking? She said, the mountains mess with their drones. The silence makes it easier to hear my own thoughts. Out here, I can feel when someone's near. That ain't delusion, that's survival. Because when you've been programmed, followed, and hunted, even silence feels like a gift from God. Dogs that bark when no one's there. Ali had a dog for a while, not a pet, a guardian. And she said that dog knew when they were coming. He barked at things I couldn't see. He whined at shadows. One night, he clawed at the door like somebody was already inside the walls. Then one day, the dog disappeared. No paw prints, no fur, no goodbye. She said, that's how I knew they got closer. They always take the protectors first. The fake neighbors. You ever see a trailer pop up on government land overnight? Ali said one showed up less than 100 yards from where she parked. She walked over to ask what they were doing. Nobody came out. But the next day, that same trailer had different plates, different people, same stillness. She said, they rotate them, switch out people so nobody builds a pattern. She called them ghost residents, folks that ain't really living, just observing. The moment she broke, she tried to stay calm, tried to pray, tried to journal, but when she realized they were tracking her offline, without GPS, without posts, without Wi-Fi, that's when she said, I ain't hiding no more. I'm gonna yell until the earth hears me. And that's exactly what she did. Phone in hand, she went live in the wind and the dark. No makeup, no script, just rage and truth and a whole lot of pain that don't fit in no TikTok box. They want her to snap. Because here's the evil part. They don't need to kill her. All they gotta do is make the world stop taking her seriously. Make her look like a crazy woman in the dirt. And when she finally breaks down, they point and say, see, she needs meds. She's delusional. We told y'all, but that breakdown, that's the evidence, not the discredit. That's what trauma looks like when it don't got nowhere else to go but out. Out in that desert, Ali Carter ain't just running. She's resisting. She's rewiring. She's waiting for the moment somebody finally connects the dots. And until then, she gonna keep watching the skies, keep calling out the shadows, and keep begging y'all not to forget what she's been saying this whole time. Ali's breaking point, isolation, faith. In the night, she almost gave up. There's a kind of silence that don't bring peace. It's the kind that makes your own breath sound loud, the kind that echoes back every doubt, every memory, every lie they told you until you start believing it. That's where Ali was. Not on the run, not on a mission, but sitting alone, somewhere between survival and surrender. No one believed her. They didn't believe her about the tunnels. They didn't believe her about the altars. They didn't believe her about the collector, CPS, or the celebrities she named. And slowly, that disbelief started to sound like truth. Not because it was, but because it was louder than her own voice. If everybody say I'm crazy, maybe I am, she whispered that one night, voice cracking on a live stream, looking down, not even into the camera. That wasn't content. That wasn't performance. That was a soul hanging on by a thread. The phone went dead. One night, her feed cut mid-sentence. No warning, no battery icon, just gone. People in the comments panicked. They asked where she was. Nobody knew. Days passed, no posts, no new videos. And when she finally came back, her voice was different, not higher, not deeper, just emptier. Like something had gone dark inside her and never came back. When faith is the only friend, Ali started talking to Jesus like he was the only one who answered. And maybe he was. You could hear it in her voice. She wasn't praying to be saved. She was praying to be seen. Lord, don't let me disappear before my story gets out. She said that with her eyes closed, palms up, rocking like she was back in a group home bed, trying to remember what hope felt like. She didn't ask for money, didn't ask for fame, didn't even ask for help, just visibility. Because what good is surviving if the world acts like you never existed? The flashlight moment. There was a story she told, one of the scariest. She said she was sleeping in the back of her car, windows cracked just enough to let the desert air breathe. She woke up to light, not daylight, not headlights, a flashlight. Someone was shining it through the window, not searching, but watching, not moving, just watching. She froze, didn't move, didn't blink. And when she finally had the courage to sit up, the light was gone. No sound, no footsteps, no tire tracks in the dirt. She said, that's when I knew I wasn't meant to make it out this time. The night she almost ended it. Ali don't talk about this part often, but there was a night, you could feel it in her tone, where she said she was ready to go. What's the point if I'm fighting my own mind and losing? She held her phone in her hand for hours, not recording, not live streaming, just holding it like it was the last connection between her and this world. She said, if I disappear, just know it wasn't suicide. It was exhaustion. I fought until the tank ran out. That was the night the world almost lost her. The comeback, small but mighty. But she didn't go. Something, maybe faith, maybe instinct, maybe one of the altars told her, tell them the rest. So she posted again, not viral, not loud, not trending, just one small video. She said, I'm still here. I got more to say. And with that, Ali Carter survived another breakdown, another brush with silence, another battle inside her own soul. Ending 6, if you ever think about judging a girl like Ali, don't just look at the chaos, look at the courage. It's easy to hold a mic when everybody clapping, but it's another thing to keep talking when the world walking away. Ali Carter ain't perfect, she ain't polished, but she's still here. And sometimes that's the most powerful message of all. Ali versus the system, sealed records, foster lies, and the fight to prove it all happened. See, it's one thing to live through hell, but it's another thing when the system that let it happen turns around and tells you it didn't. Allie Carter's not just fighting her past, she's fighting the paper trail that was designed to bury her story before she could even speak. The disappearing case files. Allie's talked about her foster records, or more specifically, how they keep disappearing. She said, "Every time I ask for my documents, they say it's sealed, or lost, or that I was never there." How you gonna tell a girl who lived it that she didn't? She remembers the beds, the caseworkers' faces, the bruises that faded before they were photographed, the cold food, the locked doors, the places she ran from in the middle of the night, barefoot, heart racing. But the state says, we have no record of that. Nah, they got records. They just got them locked up like weapons. Because if Allie gets her hands on those files, it's proof. Proof they knew, proof they failed, proof they let it happen. And in this system, the one thing more dangerous than truth is receipts. Foster homes that moved like prisons. Allie's described foster homes that were less home and more like silent detention centers. Locked pantries, cameras in bedrooms, alarms on windows. She said they monitored every move, but somehow never saw the abuse. That's the trick, ain't it? They saw it, they just didn't document it, because if they did, they'd be held liable. So instead, they blamed the child. She's lying. She's manipulative. She seeks attention. But Allie said, "I was begging for attention because that's the only way someone might have noticed I was being hurt." They didn't call her a victim. They called her difficult, because that's what systems do when they want to silence a survivor. They slap a label on her and file her away. CPS, we did our best. Allie says she begged CPS workers to believe her. She remembers one specific woman. "I told her I was being touched at night. She looked me dead in the face and said, 'Are you sure you're not making this up?' How do you come back from that? A child already shattered, now questioned by the one person paid to protect her. They didn't help. They moved her again and again and again. Each move, a new home, new rules, new predators. And her file, it got thicker, but not with truth. Just reports of behavioral issues, like the screaming, the hiding, the running, but never why. The adoption nobody talks about. One of the biggest mysteries around Allie's story is her adoption. She says the papers don't match. Names got changed. Dates got altered. I didn't know who I was for real until I was almost grown. She believes her adoption wasn't just legal. It was strategic, a way to reset the paperwork, erase the old life, give her a fresh start, but with no trail leading back to the abuse. And who was behind it, she don't know. But she believes it wasn't just one person, it was a chain, a network, from state workers to therapists to handlers, each one signing off, not to save her, but to hide her. Why they won't let her have her records? She's tried to get her paperwork, filed requests, made calls, sent emails, but they keep stalling her, saying, "You quit, we can't release this to you directly. You'll need a lawyer." It's sealed by court order. Sealed by who and why? Allie believes if she ever got access to those documents, the truth about what happened, the real names, the placements, the false psych reports, the transfers between homes, it would burn down the whole damn structure. And that's why they stall, because the paper trail don't just lead to trauma, it leads to accountability. They call her a liar because they can't let her be right. The world treats Allie like she's some random voice on the internet. But if even half of what she's saying is true, it's not just one system that failed her. It's an entire chain of institutions that's guilty of willful neglect, or worse. So what's easier, believe her or label her crazy? That's why the sealed files matter. Because right now, all she got's her voice, but with those documents, she has proof. And in a world like this, proof is power, Ali Carter ain't just looking for sympathy, she's looking for her records, her truth, her past. Because until she gets it, she's just a ghost walking through the wreckage of what they did, trying to find evidence she was ever alive in the first place. That day, she found a file, a stolen document, a name, and a paper that changed everything. Every survivor got that one moment where the memory stops being blurry. That one piece of paper, that one name, that one date, and boom, everything that didn't make sense before suddenly lines up like a sniper scope. For Ali Carter, it wasn't a therapist, wasn't a news article. It was a single sheet of paper, folded, crumpled, tucked in a drawer she wasn't supposed to open. And once she read it, she knew they lied. They all lied. The file wasn't hers, but it was about her. She was staying in someone's home. She don't say whose, but she said they trusted her just enough to let her in the office alone. And inside that desk, she found a folder, no name on it, just a date that matched one of her placements. A foster house she'd been told she imagined. So she opened it, and what she found? It was like reading a script about my own life that I never approved. The names were redacted, except one. Most of the lines were blacked out, like someone took a Sharpie and went to war on the truth. But they missed a name. Just one. C. Donnelly. That name don't mean nothing to us, but to Ali, it was the man who used to come into the group home at night. The one nobody else seemed to see, the one the other girls whispered about, but never out loud. She said, he wore church shoes. I remember the sound. He never ran, just walked slow. That's who she saw on the form, under authorized access visitation. So now, she ain't crazy. She had a visitor, a man no one logged, a man whose name showed up on a document they swore didn't exist. That one page changed everything. After that night, Ali says she stopped doubting herself, stopped apologizing, stopped wondering if she imagined it all. Because once you find one lie on paper, you realize the whole wall is fake brick. She started saying names louder. She started connecting places that used to seem random. She started asking new questions. Why was her name on a file she was never allowed to see? Why was a known visitor not reported in any CPS file? Who else had unofficial access to foster kids? The risk got bigger. Overnight, after she saw that document, weird things started happening. My phone glitched every time I said his name. I had followers message me like, don't say that again, you're gonna disappear. One night, I went live and the whole video vanished. Note muted, gone. She knew she hit a nerve because silence is one thing, but interference, that means you getting close. And Ali, she never stopped digging. She took a photo. Then it was gone. She says she snapped a picture of the file, just one, didn't post it, didn't send it, just saved it to her phone. The next morning it was gone, not in deleted, not in hidden, just gone. She said, I don't know if it was a hack or someone in my life, but they knew I found it. And from that day on, she stopped trusting digital records, the power of one page. We always think truth comes from long videos, big lawsuits, TV interviews, but sometimes it's just one line, one signature, one name someone forgot to cover up. That's all Ali needed to believe her own memory. Because once you got evidence, even if it's small, you're no longer crazy. You're a threat. She's still looking for more. That one document ain't the end. She believes there are boxes of these files, stored in closets, locked in warehouses, buried in desk drawers of people who knew what they were part of. And Ali? She wants to find them all because she ain't just trying to prove her story. She's trying to free the girls who never made it out. She said, if I don't say their names, who will? If I don't find the papers, they stay ghosts. That one stolen paper, it didn't just confirm Ali's story. It lit a fire. It turned a broken survivor into a researcher, a freedom fighter, a woman who refuses to let her past stay sealed. Now she knows where to look. She just needs the world to care enough to help her keep looking. They thought I was gone, how Allie outsmarted the ones watching her. See, they thought Allie was done after that breakdown, after that live stream went dead, after she stopped posting for days. They thought the mission was over, but they ain't know who they was dealing with. This ain't a girl who folds. This is a girl who plays the long game. Even when her own mind trying to stop her, she disappeared on purpose. When Allie vanished for those few days, no posts, no videos, no tweets, people thought she snapped. Some said she was arrested. Some thought she finally gave up. But truth is, she was hiding in plain sight. Sometimes the only way to move forward is to make them think you stop walking. That's what she told a close friend, someone who later leaked the quote anonymously. And during that quiet time, she was watching, listening, collecting, plotting, the burner setup. You know how the streets move. Sometimes you can't use your real phone, your real IP, your real name. Allie figured that out quick. She started using burner phones, library computers, offline drives. She created fake accounts to observe her own story, to see which videos got taken down fastest, which names got her flagged, which hashtags triggered silent bans. I needed to see the pattern, so I stopped being me and started watching me. Smart, because when the system watching you, sometimes the only way to beat it is to watch yourself like they do. She started sending info to dead drop accounts. Allie started emailing pieces of her story to random accounts she created under fake names. Why? Because she knew if they did get her, if they locked her up, drugged her, deleted her pages, the story would still live somewhere. She called it spreading my voice like broken glass, cut 'em with 1,000 little pieces. That's war strategy. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was counterattacking, testing their triggers. Allie started posting the same clip with different captions, different usernames, different emojis, and watched which ones got flagged. She learned saying CPS with a certain celebrity name, today, shadow ban, mentioning rituals with timestamps, name instant mute, using certain filters made the algorithm suppress her views. So she adjusted. She started using code. The bunny is still in the basement. I can hear the echoes. They dropped the file behind the stairs. It sounded cryptic to strangers, but to the ones who knew, it was encrypted truth. The fake breakdown. Then came the move that proved she was 2 steps ahead. She posted a video where she looked out of it, slurring, crying, talking nonsense. Comment section flooded with, "She's gone. Somebody get her help." This is sad now, but what they missed was the hidden language in the background. She had a document taped to the wall, blurred, just enough to look like a shadow. But if you zoomed in, it was a screenshot of a real court case, a name redacted from the public, a symbol used in classified trafficking reports. She hid it in plain sight, and nobody caught it, except the people she wanted to see it. I needed to send a message without alerting the guards. She said that days later. The message she left in the desert, right before her phone died for a week. Allie posted something wild. A video of the dirt, just dirt. No face, no voice, but at the 6-second mark you could see a hand. Brief, pale, placing a small box near a rock. Then the video cut off. No explanation. People thought it was random, but some of her followers believed that was a real drop point, that Allie was planting evidence, that she left something in that desert for someone to find. What was in the box? She never said, but she ended the caption with one line. They thought I was gone. I just got quiet. You see, Allie Carter ain't loud because she's unstable. She's loud because that's the only way the truth echoes far enough to matter. But when she goes silent, that's when you should be scared, because that silence, that strategy, that survival, that's a girl who's not just telling a story. She's running a mission. And they ain't stopped her yet. Revenge files the names she's saving for the end. Ali Carter ain't spilled every name yet. And if you've been watching her closely, you know that's not by accident. She got a list, a real one, not some internet bluff. She calls it the revenge file, not out of hate, out of necessity. Because sometimes the only power you got left when they take everything from you is the names they fear you'll say out loud. The list ain't public, but it exists. Ali's dropped hints. There are some names I'm saving for last because once I say him, they'll know the game's almost over. She don't post the full list. She don't show it, but she references it like it's sitting in the glove box of that beat up car she live streams from, a notebook, a binder, a folder with initials, dates, and roles, and each one connected to something dark, trauma, power, silence. Why she ain't said the names yet? You might ask, why wait? Because timing is survival. If she dropped all the names at once, it'd be easy to dismiss her, easy to flag her, easy to shut her down, but she's building pressure. Every time I speak, I measure who reacts. I watch which name gets who mad. That's how I know which ones are most dangerous. This ain't chaos. This is warfare. Psychological, spiritual, strategic. Clues she's already dropped. Ali don't give names. She gives clues. She'll say stuff like, the one who paid the therapist drove a white Benz and kept a rosary in his pocket. Or she had a church behind her name but wore diamonds like a trap queen. And over time, these breadcrumbs, they form a trail. Some people in the comments catch on. Others just scroll past thinking she's talking in riddles. But the ones who've been through it, they see the pattern. They know what she's doing. She's not speaking to the public. She's speaking to the guilty. The vault she hints at. Ali once said, if anything happens to me, the vault opens. Now, what's the vault? She claims it's a digital folder with videos, names, proof, photos. She says it's saved in multiple places, multiple states, with people she trusts. And if she disappears, that folder moves. That folder uploads itself. It's like a dead man's switch. I don't need to survive to win. I just need to make sure the truth gets out. One name almost slipped. In one live stream, she almost let one go. She was heated, tired, voice cracking, eyes red. She said, I can't keep protecting people like J. And then she stopped, cut the stream, deleted the post, but people screen recorded it. And rumors started flying. Was it a judge, a journalist, a juvenile court representative? Nobody knows. But that one slip, it made some powerful people very nervous. She ain't said that name again, but she ain't forgot it either. The final five. She once said there are 5 people she refuses to name, yet the last 5 names break the whole thing wide open. And once I say them, y'all better be ready. Because it ain't just about her story no more. These 5, she says they connect foster care, celebrity elites, government programs, and ritual abuse. She said they hold the keys to the tunnel, the ones nobody wants to talk about, the ones I walk through. And when she names them, that's when it all comes crashing down. Why she's still alive. Some folks ask, if all this is real, why haven't they silenced her yet? She got an answer. Because I'm their leverage too. As long as I'm unstable, they can use me to discredit others. But the second I get too clear, too clean, too sharp, they'll try to wipe me completely. It's twisted. She's safe as long as they can make her look crazy. But if she ever gets full clarity, full exposure, they know she'll burn it down with 5 names and a Wi-Fi signal. So don't get it twisted. Ali Carter ain't holding back because she's scared. She's waiting for the right moment, waiting for the world to pay attention, waiting for y'all to be ready for what she's been ready to say since she was a child nobody listened to. Because when she drops those names, ain't no more guessing, ain't no more dismissing, ain't no more she's just making this up. It'll be checkmate, and she'll be the girl who beat the game. Just by remembering what they tried to erase. The tunnel theory, what she says, is under the mansions, the schools, and the Hollywood Hills. They told us it was just make-believe, something out of horror movies, something from the fringe of the internet, a conspiracy. But Allie Carter, she ain't guessing, she's remembering. And what she remembers ain't about metaphors. She says she's been underground, literally. It was cold and too clean. Allie described the first time she woke up in what she calls the tunnel. Not a cave, not a subway, but a place built beneath something big. She don't name the location, not yet, but she gives details. The walls were smooth, like a hospital, but no signs, no exit maps, no noise, no echoes, just this hum, like something mechanical was always running. She said she was barefoot, wearing something thin, and everything smelled sterile, not dirty like a basement, but controlled. It wasn't old, it was new, like money made it. What she saw inside. She said the tunnel wasn't just a hallway. It was a system, multiple rooms, metal doors with keypads, surveillance cameras, but with no blinking lights, and adults that didn't talk, just nodded, pointed, moved like security. She remembers girls sitting along a wall, young, wearing oversized shirts, eyes glazed, and one girl whispered, "Don't speak, don't look, just wait till it's your turn." She never saw that girl again. Locations, where are these tunnels? Allie never says exact addresses, but she gives landmarks. She's dropped clues like under the hills where stars live, the school with a famous name and secret basement, the estate where the backyard's too wide to notice what's below. People online connected these to Beverly Hills mansions, exclusive prep schools, Hollywood event venues, even old studio lots that were renovated but never reopened. She said they don't hide tunnels in the woods. They hide them where no one suspects, right beneath the spotlight. Celebrities, politicians, who owns the entrances? Allie don't point fingers yet, not directly, but she said, the people who build the tunnels ain't the ones who use them, and the ones who use them don't ever get their hands dirty. She claims access is given through favors, deals, blackmail. Some actors knew, some didn't. Some thought they were going to a party. Others, they were the party. Let that marinate. Why would tunnels even exist? You might ask, why? Why go through all this? Allie says it's about control. Move people without being seen. Train them without oversight. Keep secrets under the richest neighborhoods in America. She said, the tunnel isn't just physical, it's symbolic. It's the part of the world they don't want regular people to ever touch. It's the place where paperwork don't reach, where CPS don't check, where there's no signal, no cameras that upload to the cloud. Just silence and suffering. Proof question mark. This the hard part. She don't got blueprints, she don't got maps, but she got consistency. Multiple videos, same details, same descriptions, over years even when nobody watched. She also got followers who say, I remember that hallway. I was in a room like that too. I know the hum you're talking about. And they ain't connected, ain't clout chasing. They just survivors nodding in the dark, finally feeling seen. Her theories go deeper. Allie believes some of these tunnels aren't just connected locally. She says they run across states. She claims military-style access points, underground transport, high-speed carts, tunnels connecting orphanages to airport hangars, or basements under wellness centers and retreats. She said, you think the planes are how they move people? Nah, it's the ground. The ground got routes you'll never see on Google Earth. Why she won't say more? Yet, she says she's scared to say everything. If I say too much too fast, they'll bury me under the same dirt I walked through. She's still watching reactions, still checking who's listening, who's deleting her videos, who's asking too many questions. But make no mistake, she remembers the layout, the smell, the order of rooms, the sound of keys, and the name of a man who once said, "You'll never find your way out." That's the point. You ever wonder what secrets are under the places people post selfies in? What's beneath the concert stages? Under the charity galas? Allie Carter don't wonder. She knows. She walked those halls as a child. She memorized them to survive. And now she's describing them, so we finally believe the unbelievable. The girls with no names, where are they now? Allie Carter ain't just telling her story, she's telling theirs. Because in every video, every tear, every breakdown, there's a name she forgot, a face she can't remember, a girl who never made it out. And the deeper you listen, the more you realize she was never alone. They were all just numbers. Allie said in the places she was kept, the group homes, the tunnels, the holding rooms, they didn't call them by names. We were bed sheets. We were case numbers. We were files. They didn't ask our names. They assigned us one. Sometimes she was girl number 4. Other times just red. One place called her subject 12. No one ever said Allie. No one ever asked what she liked or where she wanted to go because they didn't plan for her to leave. The ones she remembers. There was a girl named Tasha. Quiet, black hair, long sleeves in summer. She used to hum church songs to herself when the lights went out. Said it was the only way to stay human. Tasha vanished after 2 weeks. There was a girl called Lulu. Never spoke. Always smiled. Until the night the man in the suit came and whispered something in her ear. She never smiled again. Going by morning, there was twin A and twin B, never apart, blonde braids. They held hands every time someone entered the room. One day, only one twin came back. She sat in the corner and didn't move for 4 days. Allie doesn't know what happened to her either. The day she asked, "Where are they?" One of the most haunting stories Allie told, she asked a staff member at a group home, "Where's the girl who slept above me?" The woman looked her dead in the face and said, "What girl?" That's when it hit her. These girls weren't missing. They were erased. No flyers, no Amber Alerts, no cops, just gone. The paper trail that don't exist. For the girls Allie saw vanish, she searched for years, looked through court records, group home logs, foster care websites, Facebook, TikTok, newspapers, nothing. No birth certificates, no photos, no names. It's like they were born to disappear. And maybe that's the scariest part. Because Allie remembers their eyes, their voices, the way they used to cry without making sound. But to the system, they never existed. They could be anywhere or nowhere. Some might have been adopted. Some might still be alive. Some might not. But Allie said, "I feel them when I close my eyes." Not in a spiritual way, in a survivor way, like we shared something nobody talks about. She said one of her alters still talks to the girl who hid behind the bookshelf, still carries her voice, still tries to finish the bedtime prayer they started together. The guilt she carries. Allie breaks down when she talks about this, not just because they're gone, but because she got out and they didn't. Some nights I sit in my car and whisper all the names I can remember, even the ones I made up for them, because I don't want to be the last person who knows they existed. That's what trauma looks like. Not just fear, not just rage. Survivor's guilt. She tried to tell their stories, but got flagged. She once posted a series called The Forgotten Girls. Each video described a different girl she remembered. All of them got flagged, muted, deleted. Some for inappropriate content. Others just vanished with no warning. She said, "They silence me faster when I say other girls' names because that makes it real. That proves I wasn't alone." So next time you hear all screaming to the void, don't just hear her pain, hear the hundreds of voices behind her. The girls who didn't get a platform, didn't get justice, didn't get remembered. She's talking for them now, and as long as she's breathing, they ain't gone. Allie's code, the hidden language behind her most viral videos. To most people, Allie Carter looks like she's rambling, like she's venting, losing it. But the ones who know, the ones who really listen, they caught on. Allie ain't just telling her story straight. She's been speaking in code, dropping messages in plain sight for those with the ears to hear and the trauma to understand. Why she started hiding the truth in code. After too many videos got taken down. After too many bans, blocks, shadow mutes, and community guideline violations, Allie realized something. If I keep saying it straight, they'll never let me finish. So she flipped the script, started speaking around the truth instead of through it. Like a rapper who can't say a name, but still make the bar hit. She became her own cipher, her own decoder ring, her own underground broadcast. Examples of her hidden language. Here's how it works. When she says, the bunnies were back in the basement, she ain't talking about rabbits. That's a reference to the tunnels. A place where bunnies, a term for trafficked children used in dark circles, were kept before events. Or when she says, they tried to dye my hair 3 times in 1 week, she's not talking about beauty. That's a coded message for identity erasure. Each dye job meant a new handler, a new persona, a new assignment. And this one's even colder. Ekko said we already signed the NDA. That's not just an alter speaking. That's code for they silenced this part of me long ago. NDA equals psychological block. Ekko equals the alter that remembers but never speaks unless triggered. Colors mean something. You think she just wearing hoodies for fashion? Allie's colors tell stories. Red hoodie, she's on fire, she's exposing names, rage mode. Blue hoodie, she's grieving. Something happened to someone, silent mourning. Green hoodie, she's being watched, careful with what she says, subtle signals. No hoodie, she's vulnerable. She's speaking as Allie, not as an alter. It ain't always 100%, but the pattern been there for years. She said, when I'm red, run the views up. When I'm blue, pray for me. Her background setups are maps. Sometimes she records from a car, sometimes in the dark, sometimes there's a lamp, a paper, a sign in the background. That ain't random. There was one video, looked like chaos, but on the shelf behind her were a clock stuck at 3:33, a framed picture with the number 7 barely visible, a sticky note that said, they still can't find us. People in the comments didn't see it, but the survivors, they knew exactly what she meant. We're still hiding. The system's blind at 3:33 a.m., 7 girls still missing. That's the message, buried in decor. Why use code? Because code lets her speak without getting silenced. It lets her survive while snitching. Because in a world that don't believe victims and a platform that don't let you name your abusers, you gotta get smart. You gotta wrap the truth in riddles and trust that your people, the broken, the brave, the watchers, will decode it, and they have. Followers are decoding with her. There's a small group, silent, tight, dedicated. They track Allie's codes. They log phrases, colors, backgrounds, even her pauses. They're building what looks like a survivor's glossary, a digital Bible of her language, and they've started matching her code to real-world events. Court filings, real estate transfers, new adoption records, missing kids reclassified as runaways. She ain't alone in this. She lit the signal. And now the others are decoding the fire. You thought Allie was unhinged? Nah, she's encrypted. She's speaking in trauma dialect, in survivor syntax, in signals only the silence can hear. And when the world catches up, they'll realize she told us everything. We just weren't listening right. Voices in her head or witnesses? What her alters might still be hiding. Most people hear the word alters and think disorder. They don't see what Allie Carter sees. To her, those voices, they're not just trauma. They're witnesses, each one holding a piece of a story she wasn't supposed to survive, let alone remember. Alters ain't just personalities, they're evidence. Ali's talked about how her mind split. We've been through that. But here's what most folks don't get. Those fragments, they don't just protect her, they remember for her. One alter got the names, one got the map, one got the night I've been trying not to relive since I was 8. That's not a disorder. That's a living archive. They lock the memories in different rooms. That's how Ali described it. Imagine a house. Each room got a locked door. Behind everyone, a moment too painful to face, a night too dark to process, a person too dangerous to name, and each room has a key. That key is one of her alters, and they don't all trust her enough to open the door. Yet, the one that don't talk, she has one she calls Silhouette, doesn't speak, doesn't cry, only shows up when the others get too loud. She said, he don't have a voice because he saw too much. She believes Silhouette was the part of her that stayed conscious during the worst nights, the one who watched but couldn't scream. And now, he just exists in the back of her mind, watching, waiting, guarding something. If he ever speaks, I think I remember the night I blacked out for 3 whole days. That's how real this gets. The one who knows the map. Another alter, she calls her Ash. Ash don't talk about feelings. Ash talks about locations, doors, steps, locks. What hallway lead to what? Where the rooms are. Ash knows what's underneath. Ash counted the turns in the dark. She believes Ash was created to navigate the tunnels. And even now, Ash sometimes draws shapes in Ali's notebook while she sleeps. She wakes up to circles, arrows, grid patterns. She don't know what they mean, but deep down, she knows it's not just doodles, it's a map to her truth. The one who screams at nothing. She has one named Zaza. Zaza don't whisper. Zaza don't play. Zaza fights. When Ali's triggered, when someone in the comments says something nasty or a new person shows up watching her stream with no profile pic, Zaza comes out swinging. She says the names I'm not ready to say. She tells me who's dangerous before I even see it. Zaza remembers faces, smells, voices, orders. She ain't a personality. She's a bodyguard with a rap sheet, alters as witnesses in court. Ali once asked this deep question. If my alter remembers something I don't, can they testify? Think about that. If the legal system won't accept trauma-affected memory, what happens when the only person who saw it ain't the one they call Ali? Could a judge believe Zaza? Could a therapist unlock Silhouette? Could Ash describe the tunnel? Or would they all be tossed out as delusion? She ain't crazy, she's compartmentalized by force, and her testimony is locked in rooms she don't always have the keys to. The therapy that could free it all. Ali said she don't trust most therapists. Can you blame her? But she believes that with the right person, the right method, her alters could unlock the memories in full. She said, the day I sit in a room with someone who sees my alters as co-survivors, not symptoms, that's the day the dam breaks. Until then, she's leaking truth in fragments, piece by piece, live by live, breakdown by breakdown. You ever think maybe Ali's not scatterbrained? She's multi-layered. She's speaking through voices trained to never speak again. She's recalling events her body survived, but her mind had to shatter to forget. And maybe, just maybe, those alters aren't weaknesses. They're the last living witnesses to crimes this world don't want to solve. What if she's telling the truth? The cost of ignoring Ali Carter. Forget the drama, forget the headlines, forget the trolls, the theories, the fame-hungry voices. Let's just ask one question. What if Ali Carter is telling the truth? Even if just half of it, even if a quarter. What if she really was trafficked, What if those altars are witnesses? What if those tunnels do exist? What if the names she's saving are real? Because if she is, the cost of ignoring her is too damn high. We always doubt the loud ones, let's be honest. We don't believe people who yell, who cry, who break down on camera. We call them unwell, unstable, attention seekers. But why? Why do we expect perfect pain? Why do we only believe victims who cry quiet and clean? Ali's truth ain't wrapped in soft language. It's wrapped in chaos, in rage, in shaking hands and bad lighting. Because that's what real trauma looks like. The world ignores the pattern. You think she the only one, because there's hundreds like her, thousands. Kids in the system who aged out with no answers. Women who were rescued but never fully freed. Men who remember the basement but can't prove it. Ali ain't a glitch. She's a signal. And ignoring her, that's ignoring all of them. They want you to roll your eyes. The system don't gotta kill her to silence her. All they gotta do is get you to roll your eyes. Oh, it's that crazy girl again. She's always screaming. She needs help. That's how they win. Because if nobody listens, they don't gotta erase the truth. We'll erase it ourselves by laughing, by scrolling, by forgetting what it says about us. If Ali Carter is telling the truth and we ignore her, that don't say nothing about her. It says everything about us. That we value comfort over justice. That we'd rather protect our illusions than face the cracks. That we've been trained to doubt the wounded. And if that's the world we live in, then we ain't just letting the monsters win. We're helping them. What if she's right? If Ali's right, then that means there are tunnels under homes. There are kids who vanish with no trace. There are judges, agents, and celebrities playing a role in silence. There are documents sealed not to protect victims, but to protect predators. There are alter personalities holding evidence the law won't recognize. And there are girls right now praying that one day somebody will believe them. The real cost. The cost of ignoring Ali? It ain't just that she might give up, or break down, or vanish. The real cost is that the next girl who survives won't even bother to speak, because she'll remember how we treated the last one who did. So whether you believe every word or not, don't scroll past Ali Carter like she's just another viral moment. She's a walking warning, a cracked open truth, a survivor yelling into the void hoping somebody finally answers back. Because if she's telling the truth and we ignore it, we're not just complicit, we're part of the cover-up.